Okay, any discussion, comments? Nope, then do I have a motion?
Mr. Vice Chair, I move that the school board approve dependent care leave for a system-wide employee effective January 14th through June 24th, 2016.
Second.
Okay. All right, any discussion? No? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it passes. Are we moving things around, or? are we-
Yes, I think we're moving 11.01. Approval of the minutes. And we're waiting on Mr. Webb to call.
Oh, okay, then should we just move on while we're waiting for him?
Well, the next item is the work plan, which is a little bit longer, and so he was calling right now.
Ah, okay,
So I'm just giving him 1 minute.
okay. Then in the meantime, I just need a motion to approve moving 11.01 up in the agenda so that we take care of that right now.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
I'm abstaining. I was not president. I think Aaron.
Oh, yeah, yes. I will have to abstain as well if I was not present at the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Can we approve the minutes of the meeting if we weren't?
Voting to move the agenda.
Yeah, I approve moving the agenda.
Yeah, you're not voting on the item, just on moving the agenda around. Okay,
Yes.
all right, thank you.
Okay, take over. So do we have
Yes,
Mr. Webb on?
We do have Mr. Webb on here.
Okay, and now we need a motion to approve Mr. Webb's participation.
Mr. Chairman, in accordance with policy 2.23B, the school board, I move that the school board approve the participation of school board member Lawrence Webb by remote access to the school board meeting due to a previously scheduled business trip.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Reitinger. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that passes. We now have the moved approval of minutes. The approval of minutes is usually done by unanimous consent. However, in this case, we're in an unusual situation because this was something that was a meeting back in December of 2015 before the full membership of the board was the board that we have now. So we will do it by a roll call vote to approve the minutes if we have a motion to do so.
So moved?
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ankuma. Okay, could we call the roll on this?
Mr. Ankuma?
Yes.
Mr. Castillo?
Yes.
Ms. Gill?
Abstain.
Abstain. Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Reitinger?
Abstain.
And Ms. Ward is not here. Okay. Mr. Webb. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Webb?
Mr. Webb.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so the minutes have been approved. Now we find ourselves at the...
Did you want to stay on?
1 second while we... We're going to keep them on? Okay. All right, Mr. Webb. Well, the next item we're working on is, now it will be item 7.04, the work plan mid-year update. Dr. Jones.
On the work plan, staff have been busy with all of the 62 key action items for the year. Everything that you see in yellow means it's moving, quickly. It's on target where it needs to be. There are some of these items that we can't actually bring to you until we get to the end of the year, especially if they're data driven. So I'll point out just a couple of the highlights on here. Our parent university workshops have been on target. The tech team has done a great job of offering lots for our parents, from Schoology to parent controls to canine safety. That we've also had some excellent professional development for staff that have been offered. And we're also evaluating that system-wide technology staffing needs, which is reflected in the budget. The other thing that is in here is looking at funding the resources to create the real-life programming in STEAM. And farther in the work plan, you'll note where STEAM was a focus for us this year, showed up on our survey from the community in the STEAM survey that we did, that was something that they wanted us to focus on. And our makerspace at the high school has been a tremendous addition this year, and we're continuing to focus on all of those aspects, as well as the outdoor learning area at Jesse Thackeray, which is continuing to grow. On page 3, this is really looking at that community engagement and staff engagement for George Mason MEH project. And just as a reminder, we did have the consultants met with all of our high school teams of teachers, all the different departments, making sure that they were weighing in on what's important to them on a brand new high school or renovated high school. What do those spaces need to look like, which helped guide the RFP. And we are in the middle of that process, obviously, right now. On priority 1.2 is really looking at the International Baccalaureate and where we are on the authorization visits. I did adjust the date for the IB visit. It was supposed to be in December, and International Baccalaureate bumped that back to February. It's coming up very quickly in the next few weeks. And the Mount Daniel and TJ authorization is going to be in March, and then we will follow that next December or next fall with the MEH. So those are all on track. I'll just bring your attention to down on the bottom. The ESOL audit is on track. They've done on-site visits with staff. They've met with the ESOL committee. So they're back tomorrow. So they're full steam ahead on that. Did you want to add anything about the audit, Lisa? Okay. So they're working through all of that. On page 4, we're still working on refining our use of assistive technology. That's one aspect that we know we can continue to get better at for our children. We have a tremendous capacity with the devices we've given our students, but we still don't really fully understand actually what they really can do. And for many of our students that need that assistive technology, we know that's an area of continued growth for us. The gifted plan, and we had parent, mention gifted tonight, that there's a lot of discussion going on right now about the eligibility aspect with our gifted program. And, as the school board's very aware of, we talked about it, I think, at length even last Saturday, and we'll probably do it again next week, is that our criteria for gifted is radically different than the other divisions that surround us here in Northern Virginia. And the gifted committee is grappling with this because there is I'm not going to say a split, but there are two different frames of opinion, and one is that servicing children from 93 to that 99 is where it should be, and there is another frame of thought that it should look more like gifted programs in other school divisions where children who are serviced are at that 97, 98, 99. So this is something big in the work plan that the gifted committee, I think, is tackling and having some good discussion about. On priority 1.4, this is actually looking at implementing and refining the curriculum, and especially for those students who don't necessarily want that full IB curriculum. We are continuing to expand all of our dual enrollment opportunities for students. We've seen that really growing. We've also seen the Arlington Career Center has more than doubled just this year, and again, that's giving kids more opportunities in everything from cosmetology to automotive for those students who want to earn a credential, be job ready right after high school. We also are adding for the first time for our seniors externships, and the high school team has been really hard at work with that, which is reflected in this work plan. And, seniors, once you finish those exams at the end of the year, there's this big kind of sit around and not a whole lot of really great learning happens. They're ready to graduate. And so they've worked real hard as the high school team, trying to find a way to make the year more meaningful for those seniors after they finish their exams and right before graduation. In externships, they're allowing the students to really come up with some individual, I'm going to say projects, but it could be going out and being at Northrop Grumman for a full week because we're helping them make connections out in the workforce, or it could be a community service project. It could be maybe they have a novel that they've been working on and they really want to be meeting with a publisher, so it's very individualized. This is the first year, so it's going to be, a work in progress, but it's definitely moving in the right direction to make the end of the year more meaningful for those students. So I'm anxious to see what they're going to do with that. Also, the other thing I'll point out is the expanding the home access for technology connection for elementary and middle school. And we've done a much better job this year than we have in the past of finding out who those families are that have a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old and they don't have any access at home for the children. And that's either finding an older device to send home for the children. For some of the families, they might have had an older laptop, but they didn't have internet access, so we're making sure we get hotspots in those homes where they have younger children and the parents are really wanting that. And one of the benefits we have is also, this is the second year, I think, Lisa, for Mayan. We started in the summer before. And Mayan does have a Spanish and an English version. So if you are a parent who speaks Spanish primarily at home and you really want to be able to read to your child in English, or in Spanish, by accessing Mayan gives them the ability to share a book in English with their child and kind of learn along with their child. So lots of benefits there. We want to see that continue to grow as well. We are implementing our STEAM Advisory Committee plans. Again, I mentioned that earlier. On page 5, this is reflected in the budget, is again closing that gap on teacher pay, and we are right on target and excited about where we are on that. Tracking our teacher turnover data, there's a huge chart that is available. And I was thinking about this last Saturday. We had it in the superintendent's budget, recommended budget, but I don't think we brought the actual chart, and so we'll have that in our work packet 5 where you can actually see the chart. We also have the Master Teacher Program, which is in the second year, so that's all on target. Modern and secure schools, and again, this is really working on the MEH and GM project in Mount Daniel, which we know school board's very well apprised of those. Updating our Weldon Cooper projections, which are the natural growth projections. We do that every October, so that's already completed. We also have conducting our technology assessment, and they are actually on site with us March 15th and 16th, but there's already work that's happening there with Barry Dunn as well. They're on a long phone conference just yesterday, so I think we're going to get some great information from that high-level assessment. Looking at readiness for learning, and again, this is continuing extended learning time, and we are working right now on that whole summer schedule and what that looks like. And as you know, we've probably seen the most explosion at our high school, where almost 50% of our high school students are staying engaged with us in the summer. That brings big challenges for staffing, which is great, but making sure that we're really geared up for that again this summer. And then maintaining our class size. We've managed to do that again this year, maintaining our class size of K1-2, 22 or less, and 3-4-5. When you hit in those levels, it's 24, not to go over 24. And again, this is from that point in time when we have our September 30th count, because we go up and down all year long in Falls Church City with students who move in and move out. So that's the point in time that we work from. And in secondary, which is our middle school and high school, it's to have a caseload not greater than 120, and we are staying really below that and in a really good place in our secondary. If we do have a section that is greater than 24, generally it means the teacher's next section is small, is 15, and that's, again, driven by master scheduling, which we've talked about during the budget. On the community engagement section, this is really looking at hosting the large 2 visioning events, which we actually already did those in coordination with the GM-MEH process, and both of those were very well attended with almost 200 people at MEH, and got lots of great feedback from the community on what they want to see on that campus. We already have upgraded on our website and search engine optimization, working to get all of that in order and get old links to get rid of all of those. So that's already well underway as well. And then on the fiscal management side, we have continued to try to refine what we're doing at central office, because as you know, we have not added staff at central office for a long time, and we don't intend to, which means that we have to continue to automate more so that we can operate more efficiently. And we now have our pay stubs that are all automated, which sounds like a simple thing to do. It's not. It took quite an effort for the staff to be able to convert that for us, because we were a very antiquated system and still printing pay stubs, and so we've been able to do that in the last few months. We are also, our purchase order system is about 60% automated. We have one more step to go there. And before the end of the year, we will also have Veritime in place, which is the time card system working to get rid of all of the hand-calculated timesheets. And again, just the staff and the one paycheck piece alone has made a huge difference on the payroll side for our staff, because it's hard to have to print and fold and, just handle over 500 paychecks every 2 weeks. And the other thing that's been important, which we feel like it's important for staff, is the only way that we can stay on a twice payroll a month is if we continue to stay efficient, because it's very difficult as you grow to be able to do payroll every 2 weeks. So again, that efficiency side is really helping. So that's a quick update on where we are on the different components of the work plan, and everything's full steam ahead.
Any questions? Mr. Reidinger?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a few, Dr. Jones. So the first one is in priority 1.2, you note that we're preparing for PYP reauthorization, I think it was said in June, and MYP authorization in December of this year.